Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. We did see a few updates from the Fed today. In fact, we did see, here breaking Fed increases rates by 75 BPS, the biggest rate hike since 1994. We've been addressing a few targets to look at on Bitcoin. Do I believe that, the bottom is in? No, I don't believe so. I think that the argument point right now is that everybody thinks that Bitcoin's going to hold the 20K line, that we're going to continue to move up, blah blah blah. We've heard it all before. A lot of people will say like we're at max fear. We are this market is extremely fearful. Everybody's panicky, blah blah blah. In my opinion, I don't believe that we are. I actually see a lot of individuals on Twitter on my timeline being bullish. And yes, it also does help the fact that there is people out there that are like, I'm extremely bullish right now because of the buying opportunities that we are seeing. And yes, I am one of those individuals as well. Like, we look at some of the assets in this market, and like even XRP, right? XRP is at some 30 cents for an example, a 10x opportunity to its all-time highs plus. And it's just insane to me, the opportunities that we are seeing within this market. But like I've said, these opportunities look great, but Bitcoin could have a little bit more downside left in it. Now, my argument point behind this is simply, the chart, but it's also combined with what we are seeing within this market. Now, the greed and fear index is printing 7. Extreme fear, usually this is where you want to be accumulating and, averaging in. And I think that right now is definitely a perfect time to, be doing so. I think that once we do kind of see like, sharp downside moves within this market, that's where you really kind of want to start, averaging in. And it also depends on the dip itself. I know that a lot of people will say like buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. But if you buy every single dip, like for an example, if I bought every single dip on Bitcoin in the last 6 months, I would be extremely broke. Until of course, we do have that major move to the upside. For an example, here is a dip. If I bought this, I would have been in water pretty much the same month. I would have bought that dip, been in water the next month, bought that dip again, and the pattern is repeated here. But to me personally, like you don't want to try catching a fallen knife right now within this market. But we are at some historical levels within the extreme fear index. These are levels that I haven't seen in a very long time. In fact, I don't really remember if we've ever seen 7. I think that this is like the lowest point that it's been at in the history of the fear and greed index. But what I'm really kind of looking at is if we will see a push to the downside to actually test, the Celsius liquidation price, which is at 14,000 currently. Now, a lot of people were saying like, for an example, they were bringing up this USDT, which was $10 billion worth of Tether was basically printed out of nowhere. It's funny that we are seeing this at like these levels. And again, in terms of like USDT, I know that there's been a lot of speculation around like Tether depegging and basically crashing the entire market even more. It's hard to say exactly if that is going to happen anytime soon. I do believe that it will happen eventually because I don't believe in their backing, but I think that we have a little bit more time on that. In fact, I would actually be more worried about the Celsius liquidation. And I don't want to see Celsius get liquidated because this is, of course, customer money. Like, this is all, like, they literally locked up almost all of their customers', liquidity, if you will. And it's just insane to me because we are still seeing some major updates around the Celsius move, which I might be doing a video on later today and really kind of talking to you guys about it. But this is exactly why you should be avoiding a lot of these centralized exchanges. I outlined that yesterday. But let's move on and let's talk about Bitcoin and what I foresee happening. So I'm actually looking at the 16.5K area. And a lot of people were wondering, like, Nick, why are you even looking at this? So first off, on the weekly chart, you guys do see like we are still in negative, volume. In fact, even on the daily, look at our volume. We're still seeing diminished volume. We're still at major resistance. I'm just looking at this and it looks like we are going to go into a downtrend. And remember, this is a fib level going all the way back to roughly, the December 2020 timeframe. Now, this is at the 618, and this is on the macro view going off of the March of 2020 lows and our recent all-time highs. But even on the weekly, the reason why I'm really kind of looking at that 16.5K zone is because of the March of 2020 drop. So here you guys have it, right? we came down and tested the 300 weekly moving average. Sorry. And that 300 weekly moving average is at exactly $16,593. You see us testing it right here. We actually came down a little bit lower. There you guys have it, 92%. Now, this is sitting right here on our, zero point 0.5 fib level almost. This would also be, by the way, if we came down just slightly below it, testing the November 2020 lows before we went on that massive run to our recent all-time high in April of 2021. Now, again, this would be a pretty nice drop on Bitcoin from the all-time highs down to this level. It would be roughly a 96% drop. And what I think is going to happen after this is similar to what we've seen back here, where we had these nice impulses and we had, for example, like we hit like the 382 fib level at like almost 11,600, had that nice little sell-off event. It was a slight sell-off event, and then we went to that massive, parabolic high at like roughly $64,000. That's what I foresee happening here as well, where we have this major sell-off, event all the way down to this level at roughly like the $16,000 range. And then we have that nice impulsive move, which, by the way, this impulsive move would be up to the 786, $37,000 before we retest the 702, and then we go on that massive wave 5 to over $100,000 plus. Now, this is going to be on the macro view. So as you guys do see, like this is like around May of 2023. And I'm definitely looking at this to see how this is going to play out. In my opinion, diminished volume with a downtrend right now at major resistance is nowhere to be bullish at all. And I've said this on Twitter and outlined this as well. And, right now, currently on Bitcoin, if we have Bitcoin dominance continue to spike while we have this massive drop, which is, again, an over 20% drop, we will see XRP hitting my buy zone, which I've told you guys about on, multiple times on XRP. Like, this is my buy zone down here at 22 almost and a half cents to 27 and almost a half cents. This is the perfect range where I will be, aping hard into XRP, because this would be, my first buy since the SEC lawsuit, which is going to be a significant, time for me at least. It's going to be a monumental time to really kind of celebrate being able to buy XRP at these bottoms. Now, also, a lot of individuals have been, talking about the altcoin market itself. Total market capitalization of altcoins just dipped below the high that was made during, early 2018 parabolic run. Extremely overvalued back then, extremely undervalued right now. Keep your eyes open. This could be an opportunity of a lifetime. And yes, this could be, a generational opportunity when you actually look at things. Now, again, yes, downside is not limited, but it doesn't mean that we can't be averaging into some of these positions. Like right now on XRP, for an example, the dip that we just recently seen down to like 29 cents, that was a perfect opportunity to really kind of address like where you are in this market, because this is testing demand zones, as you guys do see, going all the way back to like even 2018. And yeah, we did come down a little bit lower in March of 2020, as you guys do see. This was our like, in terms of like the bear market lows, 22 cents was our bear market lows from the 2017-2018 highs. And then we did see, again, the COVID, drop really kind of pushes down. But for the most part, in my opinion, a lot of these altcoins, especially utility gems, are extremely oversold and extremely undervalued. But we also do see here from Ripple, we're in a strong position and continuing to grow, so we're looking for talent to help us build the next generation of crypto and blockchain solutions. The reason why I bring this up and the reason why I'm talking about this is similar to my other videos from yesterday. I was talking to you guys about, what altcoins you should be buying. And I know that a lot of people will like say like XRP runs, last, so, don't buy heavily, diversify. And I do completely agree, like we should be diversifying because XRP does move last. But XRP also has a massive catalyst event behind it, which is the SEC lawsuit itself. And when we talk about XRP, it's one of the, few assets within the space that the company, that's basically utilizing it is continuously growing, continuously expanding at the worst times in this market. We've seen multiple exchanges, firing massive numbers of employees while Ripple continues to hire hundreds of employees around the globe. They're continuously building. They're continuously expanding. Even on-demand liquidity, right? Their services are continuously expanding. This is what we want to see. You buy the strongest utility gems. That way, when, of course, the market bounces back, you know that you made the right decision. XRP is tried and tested. It's been here for over 10 years. And it's in an SEC lawsuit, and it is still in the top 10, even after all the noise and hate around it. And it's delisted on major platforms, and it's still at a $16 billion plus market cap. This tells me that XRP fundamentally is still extremely strong. And again, Ripple is continuously building. Now, we also do see here central bank digital currency CBDCs have the potential to help digitize entire economies and are a powerful step on the journey towards the Internet of Value. And again, this is from Ripple. They are talking about, CBDCs. I'm actually going to be talking to you guys a little bit about this, but Ripple's vision to move money like information. This is basically where we are getting to. Now, in my opinion, we won't, see, for the most part, money moving like information without interoperability within this market. We still need that interoperability layer built in and facilitated to the, for an example, legacy system from the digitized systems, which is Quant. I've always mentioned, you should be also looking at Quant, which, by the way, was just recently extremely oversold as well. I hope that you guys caught the dip on that. I did warn you guys ahead of time that I was really kind of looking at QNT around the $30 to $40 range. And even around the $40 to $50 range was a perfect accumulation zone. And we came down to roughly test. It was $42.89. So in my opinion, that was a perfect area to really kind of, average in a little bit. Especially if you bought a little bit higher around maybe the $100 range. That was a perfect time to lower your average price. But in terms of, where we are headed, I do believe that CBDCs are on the way here. The trend, in terms of the massive move within transactional efficiency and things like that they are mentioning here, that's basically happening right now, and we are seeing a major move around this specific market. In fact, we also seen earlier today, just in European central banks, Fabio Panetta, I'm hoping that I'm saying that name right, says a digital euro would be limited to a maximum of 1.5 trillion euros, roughly $1.6 trillion. When we talk about this, Europe is getting ready. They are preparing, everyone for what is about to happen. Now, of course, it is funny that they are limiting this, but it does make sense. I think that this is, something to really continue to watch for because, like I said, Europe has been preparing for this. They have been building, this digital euro, if you will, for a very long time. So I'm actually pretty excited to see where this does go and lead to. I do think that Ripple definitely will have a major role to fill within this market, continuously building out, some significant use cases, not only around liquidity, but also focusing on even CBDCs. And we do see our fiat money is going digital. CBDCs can offer increased transaction speed and reduced fees, reduced, risk via decentralized infrastructure, accelerated payments, plus the ability to redeploy capital faster, financially inclusive payment rails as well. And then also, in terms of their post on their website, they really kind of talk about the move here. The BIS found that 90% of central banks are now exploring implementing central bank digital currencies. This is up from 80% in 2021. You see how fast things are moving? I mean, honestly, if you think about it, things have rapidly shifted within this market. And we also do see here, they're talking about CBDCs and more generally digital currencies have many different applications and use cases, including, as the core of more efficient transactions and drivers of economic growth. A survey of over 1,600 financial institution leaders globally cited utilizing blockchain for payments as a key driver of efficiency. This is also why I say XRP has a major role to fill as well. XRP is changing the entire payment landscape for cross-border payments, for an example. So this is pretty huge, and I think that when we talk about things happening around payments, around digitization, the new system is being ushered in slowly but surely, and a lot of things have definitely streamlined a lot of the process. We talk about this even in regards to Russia. A large amount, and I say a large amount of banks and financial institutions have been pulling out of SWIFT because I do think that they realize how inefficient it is as a payment network. Again, remember, we just recently talked about Kevin O'Leary talking about how payment networks are the future. And when we talk about RippleNet, RippleNet is a massive giant here. I mean, like, think about the amount of, financial institutions and banks that are already signed up onto RippleNet. Remember, at one point in time with the Interledger Protocol, they needed to have every single banking entity and financial entity signed on to the Interledger Protocol to facilitate global interoperability between the payment network. But of course, since then, a large amount of things have changed. We've, again, seen the implementation of Quant with Overledger, and overall, we know that Ripple has over 300 plus, partners within the financial, institutional and banking sector, which makes it, in my opinion, the chosen one for a large amount of use cases, specifically around like cross-border payments and even B2B payments and things like that. Like this entire market that they are disrupting with XRP being a liquidity source to streamline and settle payments instantaneous. There is so much happening around this sector itself. This is why I say like XRP. You look at XRP, like even under $1, like anything under $1 is just insanely undervalued for XRP, and like even that is extremely undervalued when you go back to like 2017 and 2018's all-time high and kind of compare and contrast where we are now. It's just insane to me. And I've always shared with you guys, like, in terms of, the macro view on the fib levels. So I really kind of showed you guys a few levels that we, wanted to really kind of watch for. We could never break over that, 618, which that is the key level to watch for when we do start to break out. But the fib outreaches that we do see up here, are pretty significant. A lot of individuals always ask me, like, where can you see this? I'm really kind of looking at $10 to $15. If you want to be a little bit more, conservative, it's more so like the $8 to $13 range. But, if we outreach beyond that, I mean, like, the outreaches up here are pretty large. So, obviously, yeah, could it go to like $100 plus figures? Yeah, sure, but I'm not going to be dead set on that happening like anytime soon. Until like we are in a utility-driven market and XRP is basically taking over in terms of like on-demand liquidity. But I could definitely see like $26 to $30 being tested if we do see a settlement happen, combined with like mass relistings and basically like just mass adoption of the on-demand liquidity service utilizing XRP as the main fuel source. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.